Hi HR Nation, welcome back to another episode of the HR Leaders Podcast, the show where we explore the future of work with industry experts and HR executives from the world's leading global brands. Today I'm joined by Alma Lazo Freymann, Executive HR Director at Scotiabank. Welcome to the show, how are you?
Fine, thank you, Chris. Very, very happy to be here.
Where are you joining us from?
Mexico City.
Nice. How is it where you are? It's freezing cold where we are. Is it the same or you still got some sun?
No, we have a lovely weather. It's like your spring weather. It's very, very nice.
Oh,
nowadays.
Don't make me jealous. Yes. Well, thanks for joining me. It's exciting to have you on the show. Tell everyone a little bit more about you personally and your journey to where we are now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Sure. Well, I think I'm very, very lucky. Even though I'm also very hardworking, but I think I've been in the right place at the right time, and I've been able to grab the opportunities that the environment has provided all the time. No? So I studied business administration. I didn't know that I was going to end up in human resources. I started out my career with General Electric. Then I switched gears in a very dramatic way. I went into the business school arena. I performed as a organizational behavioral professor at the IPADE Business School. I also So I have a mix in terms of my background. I spent a few years as a headhunter. Then I moved into the pharmaceutical world in HR as well. I have been also part of the executive committee from a family-run private business. And after a few years of moving, I nowadays I'm part of the HR group from Scotiabank in Mexico. No, so nowadays I'm responsible for a team of 55 employees, and we served a company of more than 10,000 employees. So
wow.
That's Alma in a nutshell.
What about personally, your family?
Well, yes, I've been raised in a family of seven brothers.
Wow.
I'm the second. Yes, I think that's part of my let's say my I don't know, inclination to work in HR.
So you had seven brothers and you're the only girl?
No. We're eight brothers and sisters. I'm the second out of
okay.
Four sisters and four brothers.
Oh, okay. That's all a good balance.
Yes. My parents are very well organized.
That worked out very well. Yeah.
Yes.
That's amazing. Yes. Well, thanks for sharing. Yeah. You've done it all, it seems. Just out of curiosity, after working for a company like GE, where sometimes people spend their entire career in that one company, right? And move across. What was it about the academic side that attracted you to leave? Were there people in your family and friends saying, "Don't leave GE and go into"? What are you thinking? Are you crazy? I can imagine people saying that.
Well, but you know what? I'm sure you know the second episode from GE. Back then it was a crazy idea, as you just mentioned, leaving the company. But I think I left the company just before the crisis.
Okay.
So lucky me, no? The thing is that even though I love the HR arena, I honestly have to tell you that I'm always interested in the new trends and the business and projects, and not only in the company that I work for, but in general. I try to stay tuned. And so by that time, I was thinking about changing career, and I saw the business school as kind of a path to the center of the business. So I was moving. I in fact I tried to get a commercial position, but I wasn't able, since my background in HR was so bold. Everybody was like, commercial side? What are you talking about? So the transition into the business school, I didn't mention, but those roles typically you have like different hats. You have to teach, but also have to do research. You are entitled to do some consulting projects, and also you have let's say an administrative responsibility that by that time for me was the let's say the attracting candidates, or in a few words, selling the programs.
Yes.
So that was something very attractive for me, because it was like getting into the business. Also, my headhunter role in back then in TransSearch was also because I was looking for getting into the business, the center of the business.
So you're just learning all of these different skills, right? And picking them all up and further refining your toolkit that you have available along the way. What did you learn most when you was teaching that helped you when you left in your career now? Were there any kind of skill, like lessons that you learned there that you're like, this is very useful now back in the corporate world?
Well, I think that one of the most important things that I've learned is that you don't have time. And typically organizations and leaders are not quite patient. So you may want to do a very quick, let's say, reading from not only the organizational culture, but also business priorities. You may want to do a very quick assessment of the responsibility that you are provided. So this adaptability and get to know, because there are like books and many studies that say that you have like an adaptability period of 12 or 18 months, and you start delivering after the I don't know, the 14 or 18 months. That's a lie. That's a big lie. Typically, I mean, I just joined a company, and I jumped into a project that was about to launch a set of new, let's say the organization was in the middle of a new labor legislation, and we were about to deliver key projects in less than 90 days. So typically, I think those periods of where you were entitled to learn, to get to know the culture, and nowadays they expect that you just hit the floor and run.
You got to do both at the same time. You have to grow your network, learn and deliver at the same time.
Sure. So you may want to be very cautious, because in doing so, you can just have big crashes or mistakes. So yes. You may want to work with the team, as you mentioned. No? Your network is crucial. You may want to be not only a business partner, but also a team work, doing a very good teamwork in order to get those insights from the organization.
Yeah, because one thing you said before, you said career is not a ladder, it's a mountain. Why do you say that?
Well, it's very funny, because when I, in my case, when I see my career, and when I just reflect on what has happened, I feel very happy and very proud, because I've been not only growing in the organization, but also learning. But if you would ask me, I don't know, 20 years ago, what would I imagine about my career? Obviously, I wouldn't say what has happened. No?
Same here.
Sure. So probably 20 years ago, I imagined my career as like an elevator, no? Just going up one floor and then another assignment, another project. And probably I had to do some tweaks, no? The ones that climb mountains say that you cannot go just in a vertical line. You have to make like these see trails, no? So the same thing I've seen in some other executives. Sometimes you have to, you may want to take a lateral move. Sometimes you may want to change industry or sectors, and in doing so, you acquire experiences, and you get to know different business models. So, for example, I have the pleasure working with people that has been with the bank for more than 20 years. You can imagine the internal network that they have.
Sure.
No, the experience from the sector, and they have a very robust background. But for them, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to imagine a different way of doing certain projects. So the combination of these experiences is very valuable for the business. So in my case, having the opportunity, because of life has been like this with me, I'm able to enrich those conversations with my colleagues and my direct reports, because I have some other examples. So in my case, and getting back to your question, just climbing that mountain, no, in these sea movements and trails has been just an amazing experience, because nowadays in an executive position, I'm able to share and to enrich those discussions and conversations, and we are able to execute those projects because of the combination of experiences.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree, and I feel like it's necessary. And many of the most successful HR leaders that I've spoken to, they're very intentional about making those moves, because they understand that experience is so valuable, especially when they reach the top of that CHRO role. They have such a broad range of knowledge and experiences. They've lived and breathed those different roles and functions and countries and cultures and everything else that comes into the equation, right? As well. Correct. So I know, business continuity is a big focus for you and a passion. Can you talk more about that?
Sure. In terms of business continuity, sometimes they talk about the business continuity plans. No, nowadays with the pandemic and all that, we've put into place many different practices in order to being able to deliver and serve our customers. But those business continuity plans are put into practice by human beings, by employees, by people that is passionate about their work. And I consider that in order to have those employees that are able to perform, to develop, and not only to execute their responsibilities, but also doing this extra effort in these crazy times, you may want to work in your abilities and having this flexibility. No, and it's very difficult to develop these competencies in a crisis time. So you may want to have these extra hats all the time. So if I don't know, for someone who's responsible for the HR operations in the bank, you may want to help her to be part of a team that has to do with probably benefits. So she will be able to develop different abilities and competencies, because when the crisis come, she will be able to participate in a different project. So it's an ability. It's like saying tomorrow I want to run a marathon. It's kind of crazy saying that. Well, sometimes we ask people in our organizations and we put them in situations like that. Tomorrow you will run a marathon. It's just crazy, no? So you as a leader you may want to help your colleagues, your coworkers, your team to be part of this training every day. So I can just give you an example. Nowadays we are working in a new and different certification for the team in terms of project management and different methodologies. And it's, let's say, it's the appropriate environment for us to kick off our 2022 objectives. So let's say the training and the certification, it's just an accessory in order for us to get on the mood of working together and having shared objectives. So it would be a little bit difficult for me in this time of still very difficult times, asking them to work in shared projects when it seems that we are in a surviving mode. But I want my team to just get out of this mood and focus on delivering projects that provide more value to the internal customer in order to surprise our external customers.
Mm-hmm. What's been the reaction of the other managers when you've approached them with this idea?
Well, my leader is just completely surprised, but at the same time very, very happy, because we are changing mindsets and at the same time providing new competencies to the team. And since the final objective is our customers, the journey is very easy, So these new ideas are just very welcome into the committee and the organization.
Yeah, well, that's good to hear. It's not always the case.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, especially when times are tough, right? It's like, oh, we can't do that. We're too busy trying to survive. Where we're going through right now. When actually some of the most important times to do those things is during these times, but it's challenging, like you said earlier. What else is top of mind for you?
Well, in terms of, I think in terms of talent, one of the things that I have always on mind is employability for my team. I think I'm as a leader, I'm responsible not only for, let's say, the present times and providing them with a challenging role, let's say securing a salary and all that, but the world is so we are in the middle of a very, very demanding economy and change the situations just change from one day to the other, that I think that my responsibility is to provide them with the experiences, learning and competencies in order to make them a very easy, let's say, a very easy transition. If there is the unfortunate case that them or myself, we have to leave the company or we have to change careers or whatever the situation we have or we are facing, that we are able to make those switch in an easier way. So for me, employability is like a top of mind always. So every time, every iteration, when you have a meeting, a project, always providing feedback in those terms, not only for the current position, but thinking in the future. How
it's interesting.
How does that looks for us?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I don't really hear many HR leaders say that. I'm focused on the employability of my team, both internally but also for the future when they leave. Like, I don't really hear many HR leaders have that as a priority, as top of mind, of making sure their team skills are developed, but also looking at it from the external lens, the way you're talking about it for future roles outside potentially of the company. Is that something you've picked up along the way in your career? What is it that's made that for you, front of mind and important?
personally, I've lived that. I mean, I mean, if
true.
you, the thing
That's
is
a
that,
good point.
yes, I've been, I don't know, forced, because in some situations, for example, by the time that when I worked in the pharmaceutical industry, it's a very, I don't know, you have mergers, acquisitions, divestitures, and so you are constantly not thinking about what the next step will be for
Interesting. Yeah.
you. No,
Yeah.
so in many situations. So my conclusion, because life has been a little bit rude with me.
So you've experienced it basically, and you like, well, sure. I want my team that if this ever does happen, they have the best opportunity. Their skill sets are very, in demand and relevant. Sure. That's just interesting. I just never thought about it from that broad, but given your experiences, and regardless of your experiences, it's a good idea, right? And it's the right thing. Yes. And let's be honest, if you do, because you are investing in them and paying attention, and you're, leading with empathy and you care, they are more likely to stay anyway. So it isn't like you're developing their skills and they're going to leave and they're like, oh, I have this great set of skills, now goodbye. It's actually the opposite, right? They're going to be more engaged and more, sure. Connected with the wider purpose of the organization. Sure.
I prefer to have very talented people, very skilled with a broader skill set, and probably they ended up leaving for any reason, instead of having someone very limited with no competencies, and they will stay. So that's
true. who are not engaged, and they will stay. The interesting thing is, it's worse if they stay, right? Than the opposite.
Sure. But typically when you are developing your team, I want them to become a better person, so they will become a better executive, a better professional. And when you are really interested on their motivations, their plans, their future steps, how they see their career, they will typically be very engaged, not only to the company but also to you as a leader, and so you will be able to have a good relationship. And when you will notice when they are a little bit nervous about any situation. So it's easier for you to have this honest conversation, open in terms of what the next steps are for them, and you can help out in order to probably help them to apply in an open role in a different area, but you will retain them within the organization, and at the same time help them grow. No?
Yeah, I think especially we talk about the Great Resignation as a big topic right now. This is happening a lot internally, right, inside of HR. Like, if you go on like LinkedIn, there's probably 10 times more job postings for HR talent. Have you noticed that? I feel like companies, there's either people are leaving, or companies are also realizing they need to invest more in their HR teams and now hiring more as well. I think it's a combination of both. But I'm seeing job posts every day for like more than I've ever seen before.
Yes, I can tell you. I was granted with a scholarship for an executive program for. We were a group of 50 women around the globe in a executive program with the London School of Economics. And it's just very impressive that if you take this 50 group around, I think 40% or 45%, we have changed roles over the last 6 months. I'm not saying a year. We finished the program.
So 40, did you say 45% roughly?
Yes.
I've changed role in the last 6 months. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, those 50 women, we are very representative, let's say, group from the different organizations. Those were business, banks, family-run business, non-profit organizations. And I can tell you, 45, we have changed roles. So not only in HR, I can tell you, it's
everyone, but I'm just seeing more in HR than I have seen. What do you think is causing this sort of, again, you've got the overall great resignation, but inside of HR itself, what do you think's causing so many HR professionals to leave and seek other opportunities?
I think the HR talent has been always scarce. So nowadays, I think business leaders and in general the organization, they have realized that you need, in order to perform in these turbulent times, you need really a business partner. So I think they have attracted different HR leaders. So that has caused a great turnover, and so that's why they are posting all those new roles. So probably 2 years ago or 3 years ago, if you have a decent HR performing their activities and responsibilities, it was fair enough. But nowadays, you may want to have someone who's interested not only in the, let's say, the typical HR stuff, but also very focused and very aware of the business situation and the world situation. So I think that's the key point.
Yeah. Do you think there's also an element of, I agree, by the way, but do you also think there's an element in terms of like the stress that's been caused over the last 18 months? Particular companies not perhaps supporting their employees in the way they should, because I spoke to a number of HR leaders that said, our business hasn't really stood by our employees as they would like to them to have, and this isn't the right company for me, and I'm going to go work for a company that does value their people. Have you spoke to any of your peers about stuff like that?
Yes. In fact, I mean the engagement and the morale of our employees is a key element. Probably the very first months, everybody was aware that we are under a lot of stress, and we were just working to provide the service to our customers. But after the very first 90 days, this stressful situation, just we needed to slow down and to focus on also internally in order to keep supporting and keep delivering the services for our customers. But I think it's not only the very first 90 days, but the month 6 and then the first year. And nowadays, for example, when we're some companies, we are just having this re-entry from the people who need to go to in BCP, the business continuity plan. They needed to go home office because of the restrictions of the pandemic. But every time we have the opportunity to make a difference. So for example, I know colleagues that just say, okay, so you have to come back to the office. And yeah, they sent an email and they expected their employees to get back and connect, and they don't care. They didn't care about all these situations that you have to experience. And every interaction that you have with a colleague, with the organization, is an opportunity to demonstrate that you care. So in the way you interact, the way you communicate, the way you provide them with a new solution, a new benefit, or you restrict some of these, it's an opportunity for you to get more engagement or destroy it. So this period has been very intensive because the situations has been just critical. But that's the way you provide your employees with the correct messages.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I'm conscious of time, so I want to jump into our quick fire round. So I do this with every guest, right? So I've got 8 questions, and you have no longer than 30 seconds for each question. Are you ready?
Okay. Yes.
What are your passions and hobbies outside of the office?
My family and friends. I enjoy having experiences, valuable experiences for my records, let's say.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised in Mexico. It's part of the culture, right?
Yes.
Definitely part. If you could click your fingers and change one thing about HR today, what would it be?
focus on the business.
Fantastic. How would your friends and family describe what you do for a living?
I think it's focused on developing others.
That's what they think. That's a great answer, by the way. That they have a good understanding then of what you do. Yes. Fantastic. What legacy do you want to leave behind for your family?
It's a great question. I think it's that they become a better person.
Yeah, that's always a good one. Definitely. We spoke about this at the beginning of the call, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Have you ever considered leaving HR and trying something different? If so, why? You already have.
I did.
You've done it. Yeah.
I did it, and I just got back because I love HR.
You love it. They got you back. They got you back either way.
Yes.
What's the biggest investment that you've made in yourself?
My executive MBA. I think that changed not only my career but also my personal life.
Fantastic.
It was a very, very intense program. I did it at the same time that I was working, so it was just crazy busy, but that was one of the best things that I've done.
Amazing. Who's one person in your career that's had the biggest impact on you?
My parents.
Your parents.
But particularly, wow. Yes.
Fantastic. And then last question, what advice would you give to other HR practitioners who are going to be those leaders of tomorrow?
Just put your passion and your heart in your work, not only your learnings.
Amazing.
But your passion.
Fantastic. Well, that was very concise. you had way more than you had like 30 seconds, but you were just like, boom, you're ready. But look, thank you for coming on the show. It means a lot. And the last thing is, where can people connect with you if they want to reach out and say hello and network with you?
Well, I'm in all the, well, not all, but I'm very active in LinkedIn, Instagram and Facebook. So whatever the network you prefer, I'm always open to connect.
Amazing. Well, look, thanks for coming on, and for everyone listening, as always, those links will be below. So go and connect below. LinkedIn will probably be the best, right? So you can connect below. But apart from that, thanks for coming on the show, and I wish you all the best until we next chat.
Thank you, Chris. It was a pleasure having this conversation.